Comedian, actor, producer, writer, and New York Times bestselling author Matt Rife is coming to VyStar Veterans Memorial Arena March 12th for his Stay Golden tour. And y'all, I am so excited because he is joining me right now. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hello, how are you? Thank you for the intro.
Oh my gosh, well, you have done a lot of accolades there, and you're unwrapped a Christmas special or a Christmas crowd work special released in December. So I have to ask you, because you do a lot of crowd work, that's kind of like your specialty, right? How do you prepare for a special when the majority of it is crowd work?
It's a great question and observation. The funny thing is, I guess I do a lot of crowd work, but it's such a small part of the actual show. Like my show is about an hour, 15 minutes long, and I'd say maybe like 10 minutes of that is actually crowd work. The rest of it is like material and stories and stuff like that. But I love doing it because it's a spontaneous moment that's never duplicated again. It's refreshing for me to kind of have to flex that muscle and feel unprepared and just have no idea what's going to happen. Like it's part of the thrill for me. So doing a special that is an hour long show of just crowd work is kind of impossible to prepare for. But that's the kind of the pro of having a specific topic like Christmas that everybody can kind of speak on and have an experience about. So in doing that, we did about, oh God, I want to say close to like 12, I don't know, practice shows up in Vancouver when I was filming there for about 6 months. And you go in there, you just kind of test some joke ideas. You kind of get a vibe for like the kinds of things that people want to talk about around the subject of Christmas. But there's nothing that can quite prepare you because you have no idea who's going to be in your crowd at the taping. You have no idea their experiences they're going to have. You can't prepare to hear anything because it might not get said. It's not the same people that are in like the test audience. So it's really just getting comfortable in the topic of Christmas and practicing navigating staying on topic.
Yeah, I noticed you kind of have like your skeleton, right? You're like, okay, well,
Yes.
I've had a weird Christmas gift, or I gave a weird Christmas gift. Can't talk about it on our show, but then you kind of say, or does anyone else have anything like that? I thought that was really well done on how you
Thank
bring
you.
in the topics and kind of move along. Now, I have to ask you, and we'll get to your current tour, but how did you know, or when did you realize that you had this gift of just quick wit? Because that's not something I don't think you can really develop. That's kind of like just from within.
Oh man, crowd work wasn't really a thing I discovered that I even really did until probably 2021. But in hindsight, I probably should have known I was a smartass in probably middle school, starting to get detention all the time. Talking back to teachers, talking back to my parents, that kind of thing. To them, it was probably very annoying, but they didn't know that I was workshopping skills that were gonna get me through my future.
Right. Well, it's working very well. And so,
Well,
what can
thank
we
you.
expect with this tour?
Oh, this is my most fun show I've ever toured with in
Oh,
15
wow.
years. We're lucky enough to get to do it in arenas, in the round. The cool thing about the show is that every show is center stage, right? It's in the round. I'm surrounded by everybody. And the best part about that is nobody is far away. Like, I pride myself on making 18,000 people feel like we're hanging out at a 400-seat intimate comedy club. Like I can see everybody that's in the arena. There's not a bad seat in the house. There's a lot of energy to the show. It is interactive. There's a lot of really fun stories. It's definitely the most fun I've ever had on stage in the last 15 years of doing comedy.
And can we kind of expect, again, like, bits and different stories that you've kind of come up with, but then also some of that crowd work?
Absolutely. Yeah, there's stories, there's pockets of material that are kind of dedicated to potentially roll into the possibility of crowd work. There might be like a specific topic that I want to talk about and I'm doing material about, and then I kind of maybe open the floor to somebody in the first couple of rows or whatever that I kind of want their opinion on, and then we get to make fun of them for how stupid their opinion is.
I love it. And last December, you also released your first book. It's called Your Mom's Gonna Love Me. So I bet that is and it's a memoir, so just completely different from like writing for a stand up show. Like, what was that process like?
Um, Invasively emotional. It was kind of like it was kind of like putting myself through therapy because I went back and like told my entire story of the first 29 years of my life, because to a lot of people I just kind of spawned out of nowhere as if I was born 29 years old and just everybody knew who I was automatically. I've had a very weird life and I've done a lot in those first 30 years. That was fun to kind of reflect on because everything has moved so fast over the last 4 years. It was nice to kind of reflect on what got me here and what made me who I am today.
Yeah, that's really, really cool. And then, of course, I have to ask too. I hear that you've got some new things in the works with Netflix.
Yes, yes, we have a couple of things, some films, TV shows, and hopefully another special maybe the end of this year, maybe, maybe not. I can't confirm or
All
deny.
right.
But yeah, they've been good to me. They've become such a hub for comedy, and they really protect us as comedians and letting us, do our craft and do our art and say what we want to do and do what we want to say.
Well, I think it's fantastic. Very excited for you and all of your
Thank you.
success. I have to ask and end on this though. Who was your inspiration? Who made you, who inspired you to become a comedian?
Oh, I would say I grew up watching a lot of Dave Chappelle and Dane Cook. Like they were both like the pinnacle of stand-up comedy when I found out what it was around like 13, 14 years old. And Dave Chappelle lives 45 minutes south of where I grew up in Ohio. And Dane Cook was the first comedian I ever saw live at 14 when my mom wanted tickets to the radio to see him. So I mean, a mixture of their inspirations is kind of what inspired me to want to do this. And the irony of growing up and 15 years later, being able to call both of them very close friends and mentors is just a testament to how wild and random life really is.
Yeah, I bet it's pretty surreal. And you have been to Jacksonville before, you said. So is Jacksonville a good comedy town? How would you describe us? In Duval, have you heard of that?
Duval, of course, of course. Jacksonville has never been anything but fun for comedy with me. I've got some family that lives down there, so I'm familiar with the environment, and it's a town that I'm gonna say this in the best way possible needs comedy. You guys are going through every other city in Florida gets so spoiled, and you guys are working class, blue collar, real people in Florida. You're not the Miami crowd. You're not a bunch of dudes named Poppy walking around with your chains through your chest hair. It's real people, man, and I miss you. It's been far too long.
Well, we cannot wait to have you. Once again, Matt Rife will be at VyStar Veterans Memorial Arena March 12th for his Stay Golden Tour. It has been such an honor to talk to you. Never in a million years did I think this would happen. So thank you so much for taking the time.
You're so sweet. It was my pleasure to meet you, and thank you for taking the time.
Of course. And everyone at home, if you would like to see this interview again, just head to First Coast News Plus.